Let's go. So let's do another fantasy video with only two matchups left before playoffs. So in the second to last playoff matchup, well, yeah, I do gotta change who's the game of the week. Let me change that right now. So the game of the week is gonna be supposed to be. Let's see who it could be. Third, 3 versus 5. Yeah, I think it's 3 versus 5. So we put McTarget's Goons in the game of the week versus me. Versus McTarget's Goons. Alright, so look at the scoreboard. So right now, we'll go to the game of the week last. So we got Ad City versus Taylor Swift down under. Shout out to Taylor Swift, man. Is she gonna win the Super Bowl? Gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be interesting to see if KC don't win the Super Bowl and they put the cameras on Taylor Swift. How she gonna look? Is she gonna have CC, Caitlin Clark, right next to her in the booth at the Super Bowl in the NO? So 13 versus 8, Taylor Swift down under, trying to maintain that 8th seed in the playoff spot, that last playoff spot. And he's the loser right now, but let's see what categories he can win. He can come back in. Wow, he look like he's locked out of all categories. Field goal percentage, he might slightly be able to come back in, but that's about it. It looks like the best he can do is 5-5. Yeah, the best he could do is 5-5 for Taylor Swift. If he get comeback and field goal percentage, it would be pretty tough. But Ad City, the best he can do, he can win that. He can come back and win that. Stills, I don't know, that might be pretty tough. So Ad City can add 2 more categories on it. He could get 8-2. He could get an 8-2 win possibly. And Ad City 8-2 win, for him from the 13th seed, for Ad City to get in the playoffs, yeah, he probably gonna have to win the final matchup next week 10-0 just to even have a chance to get in. He's most likely gonna have to win this matchup probably 8-2 or 7-3, and then definitely gonna have to win next week 9-1, 10-0. And Taylor Swift, next week is probably most likely gonna need a W to maintain the 8th spot or try to get back the 8th spot if he loses it after this week. So we'll look at the standings in a minute, but let's move on to the next matchup: Team Alexander versus Ass Nation. Ass Nation in 4th place, Team Alexander in 11th. Let's see. Ass Nation up 7-3 right now. Team Alexander could come back in 1, maybe 2 categories. He could come back in, most likely maybe 3. So the best Team Alexander could do, I think, is get a 6-4 win. Now for Ass Nation, the best he can do, can he do better than 7-3? He can come out, he can win that 8-2. So the best Ass Nation can do is get an 8-2 win. So it should be interesting, man, to see how if Ass Nation can maintain, a home seed for the first round of the playoffs. And Team Alexander trying to get back, in the playoff hunt, and he still has a chance for sure. But he's definitely gonna have to. If he doesn't win this matchup, he's definitely gonna have to win next week in a blowout. Most likely, he's gonna have to get an 8-2, 9-1, or 10-0 win to be able to get in the playoffs. I think if he gets a 9-1 or 10-0 win next week, even if he loses this 7-3, he still could possibly get that 8th spot. So we're gonna see. It's gonna be interesting, man. And then let's move on to the next matchup: Fantasy Savage versus Orlando Pride. Fantasy Savage trying to maintain that 7th spot. He could come back in 1, 2, 3. He could come back in 3 categories. So Fantasy Savage can win 6-3, can win 6-4, or maybe even 7-3. But the best option, Orlando Pride. Can he win that? No. Can he win that? Most likely not. Can he win that? Yes. Can he win that? No. So Orlando Pride, the best he could do is 7-3. Because there's 3 categories he's locked out of. So that's what it is for Fantasy Savages or Orlando Pride matchup. They both trying to maintain a playoff spot and not drop out. And the only way they drop out is if they have big losses in their final fantasy week. That's the only way Orlando Pride and Fantasy Savage drop out. It's gonna be a lot harder for Orlando Pride to drop out, though, for sure, even if he does lose next week, than it is for Fantasy Savage. Since Fantasy Savage is way closer to 500, I wonder, it must be a few. That might be the biggest gap difference of games back between 6 and 7. We'll go look at it in a minute. Team Domelo versus Buzz City Bums. Damn, Buzz City Bums, can he win any categories? Damn, this might be the first 10-0 matchup win of the league. And can Team Domelo get the number 1 seed off this W? Possibly. If he get another blowout, especially in the last week before playoffs next week, for the next 2 weeks combined, which is the last week is 2 weeks combined with the All-Star weekend in between, which is pretty sweet. So that's what it is, man. Then we got D's Nuts. Buzz City Bums, Buzz City Bums out of there. I don't think going 0-10, he might fall to the last place, and even if he come back and win 10-0 next week, he probably still won't be able to get in. So Buzz City Bums, probably I would say, his season is done for this fantasy season, hoops-wise. But shout out to Buzz City Bums for, being part of the league again. I remember I barely got him to come back in the league last minute. These Nuts versus 420 defending champ. These Nuts versus defending 2-time repeat champ versus 420 59. Hold on, let me see something real quick. Let me see. So we got these Nuts. 424 handlers came. 424 handlers. He's in last place. Yeah. Even if he, but what can he do? Let's see. Can he win? He can win. He can only win 1 category more. The best he can do is 5-5. Best these Nuts can do is he can win that. He can win that. So best these Nuts can do is 8-2. So these Nuts, if he wins 8-2, 7-3, he's close to 500, and he'll need a big W against my squad next week in order to get in. Wow. He'll definitely need a W. It can't even be a close W. It can't be a 6-4 matchup for these Nuts to get in next week like it is right now for him. He'll need to win against me close to 10-0, 9-1, 8-2 at the very minimum. But he needs to really get a 9-1, 10-0 type W. 8-2 W is the very minimum he could get in. He could win next week and have a chance to get in. So these Nuts might be out of the he might be out of the championship. Out of the playoffs this time. And with the 3-peat, it would not be won't be able to pull off the 3-peat, man. And also he won't be able to. He won't be able to even get a top 8 pick. Yeah, because if you don't make the playoffs, you won't get a top 8 pick for next season. You got to make the playoffs to be able to get a top 8 pick for next season. So they drop out of that too. They have one of the lower first round draft picks. So it should be yeah, man. We'll see. 420 pool handler. He'll probably have one of the last draft picks for next season too. Because the draft order is determined by your standings, your standings from last season, from the previous season. So we got Cuttlefish versus Me Too Movement. Cuttlefish trying to sneak in the playoffs, but there's a blowout, probably gonna push him out. And even if he does get a blowout win next week, probably still won't be able to get in because it is blowout right here. But let's see if he can come back in any category. Nope. Well, he can come back in that 1, 2. He come back in that 2. We can win that 3. So the best he can do is 4-6. This pretty tough. Best he can do is 4-6, maybe 5-5. He come back in that, but that'd be a long stretch. So most likely 4-6 Cuttlefish best he can do, and he'll definitely have to. Even if he does finish 4-6, he'll definitely need a big W to sneak in and get an A7 seed in the playoffs. Me Too Movement trying to lock up the #1 seed, and yeah, can he can win that? He can win that. He can win 10-0 too. So Me Too Movement and Mellow the Don, the top 2 seeds right now, both can win 10-0. And Me Too Movement, trying to maintain that 1 seed. The one Mellow looks like Don Mellow probably not gonna catch him and stay in that 2nd seed. And then we got the game of the week, man. My squad, Joy's Peanut Butter Skin, versus McTarget's Goons. And the best my squad can do is we can win 1, 2, 4. Best we can do is 6-4, 7-3 win, 6-4 win, most likely. And the best McTarget's Goons can do is he can win that. He can win that possibly. So best McTarget's Goons can do is 8-2. Best my squad can do is 6-4 W. So it should be interesting. We do got a personal bet on this, which should be about, I think it's close to 70 or something, 80 or something like that. Or 70, 80, 90 or something like that. So we're gonna see, because I think I could definitely win this matchup and win this bet. And we can come back in field goal percentage and free throw percentage. And that'll turn everything around. Come back in that, and win this, and maintain these other 3, and I got the win, 6-4. Let's get it. So let's go to the standings real quick to see what it really look like in the playoff hunt. Might have to do a part 2 of this. So standings. Let's go and start with the 8 seed. How many games back? Taylor Swift down under 20.5. So 20.5, yeah. Team Alexander, even Ass City, yeah, Buzz City Bums. I think he getting the L though. Team Alexander, These Nuts, and Cuttlefish could possibly get that 8 seed from Taylor Swift down under. Next week, it's gonna be interesting to see who Taylor Swift down under plays next week. I'm not sure. We'll have to relook at that. But yeah, all but 2 teams pretty much should get that 8 seed. That's not in the playoffs right now. That's not in the top 8 right now. And what else is the separation in the games back? Yeah, it's a big separation between Orlando Pride and Fantasy Savage. Big separation between the 6 and 7 seed. And then big separation with the #1 seed. Yeah, there's no way nobody's catching the Me Too Movement. He got the #1 seed on lock, it looks like. 2, 3, and 4. Now that's pretty close. And 5. Pretty close. And 6. All close. We all could go anywhere, jump between 2 and 6 between these last 2 weeks. Could jump between 2 and 6. They can rotate between them. So that's what it is, man. Maybe we'll do a part 2 of this fantasy video. But that's what it is, man. Holla.